That oh so famous Plunder Runick list for you. Stun back at it again, and wow, your meta contenders are just some of the most interesting things right now. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. The adventures of the Plunder Patrol good stuff with a slice of going second options. This is actually kind of nice to see in here. Being able to basically kind of cover your deck's weaknesses is one of the things that I feel like trying to explore the off-chance rooting variants has definitely been good. Now keep in mind, as we're kind of heading sail into this format and the way that things were going, you kind of had to play something a little bit more unique for the YCS to kind of explore the options of what you could do. And I do think, you know, Plunder Patrol Runick hits those key notes of, one, unexpected value, and two, it has this, I would say, more niche opportunity about itself to kind of challenge the norms that we're kind of used to seeing out here in terms of the meta, which means, hey, your coverage is what you need in order to do well. Now, this build did have some interesting decision trees in it. We did actually have the fact that we are main decking Cosmic Cyclones in here, giving you the chance to kind of out some of those pesky mirror matches. Feather Duster also for your coverage, for your rogue matchups. And of course, don't underestimate evenly matched as well. I cannot stress this enough. Evenly in a format that is just starting to develop just destroys people. They don't expect it, and they're just like, you know, what just looking around, they're like, wow, you know, what happened here? And that's just genuinely how it works. So yeah, welcome to the new format, Plunder Patrol Runick. I'm glad to see that the captain was the one that could pilot you and gave the world a chance to see some things. And hey, see, we have puppetry in here as well. The fact that, you know, your entire shipmates are all fiend means you get free advantage for it. Oh, hey, stun. So this is kind of interesting to see. There have been a lot of developments out here, a lot of people exploring the different methods of trying to play stun for this format. And that's not a bad thing. I actually welcome more and more people to try to explore this deck and see what they can do. And it does look like, honestly, your barrier statue of choice right now is definitely going to be the water barrier statue. Just because with the way that things are, the water one is the safest one. You know, the earth one is like a little bit off. Now, eventually, we might be forced to shift back to, you know, probably the earth one. But I definitely want to point that out. And, of course, we do have Yield Necro Valley in here as a 2-of, all right? Which means you're going to need the control options of this card in order to definitely slow down the pace of the game. And I will tell you, once again, without any certainty, that Necro Valley is a broken card. This being able to interfere with the Tempai Dragons, you know, attempting to pop out of the graveyard via the effects is literally a free win. Of course, you do see that we do have Ecclesia in here as well. And of course, with the Ecclesia, we have triple punishment in here, which arguably is a lot. You do want to see what you can do with this card. Very, very strong. And hey, Slice a Bottle of Gondola. How are you? Yeah, that's right. You're maximizing on this card. The only things I find a little bit weird, sometimes I value the Extrav a little bit more on the fact that, you know, you do have an open slot down here in the extra deck for what you want to do. We're also side decking the HakunaMyData, which I guess, but the minute that I feel like this deck can get out-tempoed relatively easily, and that's a little bit of an issue I have with Modern Era Stun, you know, the minute you start watching that advantage get chipped away, ugh. All right, ooh, we have Orcust for you. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is, congratulations, you got unlimited, well, you got 2 Armageddon Knights now. And you have triple Harp Horror, which means people, you're back. You can play this again. You can play all of the fun Orcust stuff that you can have. The only problem with what Orcust does is, I'm gonna hate saying this, but it feels very fair now in terms of what the deck does, the hoops that it goes through, and that's a little bit of an issue. That, you know, whatever end board you're setting up, you know, maybe Dingrisu loaded up with maybe the Galtea with the counter trap card, it's kind of like the best value you kind of get. Oh, and obviously, the interactions with Babel. Yeah, I get it. Those are kind of the biggest things that you kind of mess around with out here. Side deck, I mean, you have all the standard things that you want. Draw and Lock, we're definitely getting pushed down into the side deck, is very reflective of how the current meta developments are definitely trending towards. And hey, I'm glad to see this build does have at least some sort of board breakers in it, so we can kind of do our thing. But outside of that, if you're looking at Orcust right now and you're like, I'm going to play this because this is the best deck in the room. No, it's not. You have a good, solid deck in front of you, but that's it. Solid will win you some victory points, but it's not enough for you to, I guess, kind of bring it on home. I know it's really disappointing to see, for me to bring this down to earth, but it's innovations are cool, but I don't see this continuing to be like it's even struggling in the rogue category, and that's crazy to me for how much Orcust actually has going for it. But as a local buster deck, sure, all day long you can do fine. We've seen it before. Now this, we have some Ubel for you here. Now the first major thing that I kind of don't like about this list is we're actually not playing the third form. I have definitely seen enough lists post the beautiful, beautiful Nightmare Throne here that having the third form in here, while it can be a little bit of a brick, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's an extra extender for you to be able to gas through and be able to do things with, which is actually a pretty good thing. We're doing the 2 Squirmers, which is 100% normal. And of course, our dear friend Nibiru just moved right on into this deck. The fact that Nibiru just kind of helps you put a big fat monster on the field for your opponent. Actually, this can just end the game for you. Being able to resolve a Nibiru into a Ubel battle phase reflection could just spell the absolute death of your opponent. So of course you're going to want to play Nibiru, right? It's a free win condition button, and who doesn't love just stealing the game from the jaws of defeat? Yes, another deck that can play Shifter. We have the Ghost Ogres in here as well, and it's also kind of nice to see that this deck also can now safely kind of get to the soul release and actually have this matter. And I see we do have the thrust in here as well. Yeah, this is everything that you've wanted. You've wanted a good, consistent Ubel strategy to be able to capitalize up on the new things and see what you could do. Sure. And then we have, of course, we get to play the new Valdroth, and then of course the Juggernaut Libby and the Gustav Max. Yeah, this is all pretty standard stuff. So gotta clap for it. In terms of your meta evolving, Ubel just sits up here at the pinnacle of things, and it's such a good deck. And it amazes me that people are surprised that this deck is good. Also, this card's value is actually kind of insane for this pile. So good stuff. And our last list that we have here, speaking of Unchained cards, I did get to see an Unchained list out here actually do good. And this is actually kind of a win in my opinion. We've seen Unchained kind of floating off into the little vastness of the tiredness over there because Shavara is still limited to 1. But that hasn't stopped people from we're still playing the DDD package in here. That's right, you're still doing, the DD Vice King Requiem plays, because making, DD High King Kaiser, or, the ability to make this card is so stupid good. Also turboing down the Zeus lines of play. Incredibly strong. Do have the Underworld Goddess to out more troublesome things your opponent does. And of course, we are playing the Nightmare Griffin in here. Yes, the ability to reset one of our cards if we need be. Interesting to note, though, that they are doing more of the hand trap side of the equation in here. As much as you would think that, maybe having an anti-spell or something in here would be kind of worth it, it really just depends on what you're looking at in terms of deck builds. But I am happy to see Unchained actually coming into the light here and doing well. Also, we're only playing, poor Reikia, we're only playing one of it. Absolutely the madness. So, that is everything that we have for you today. The meta is just beginning. We have a lot of interesting things to go. Every month you're going to start to see things kind of change, and we're finally at that point that you're seeing the format start to accelerate in a much better direction, and I think that's a good thing. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.